this topic, managing a great man, from the perspective of conception. We want to look at what it means to be a great man. We are going to look at the Prophet ﷺ as the greatest man in history, the greatest man in history. Although we should be thinking of 7 great men, the greatest probably being Ibrahim. But there will be contention. What about the father of everybody? Can a child be greater than his father? So we'll be looking at Adam being the greatest because he was the first man. Noah being the greatest because he was the second father. Because Allah destroyed the world and Noah started the second war, the second world. And then Ibrahim ﷺ is the father of faith. Jews, Christians, and Muslims accept him as their father. And he's also father to Muhammad ﷺ. And Muhammad ﷺ was ordered to follow him. And when we do that route to the Prophet ﷺ, we ask Allah to bless him the way he blessed Ibrahim and his household. We shouldn't be talking about controversy. We should be talking about choosing our prophet, our teacher, because he is the closest to us. And once we follow him, we follow Ibrahim. And although we are ordered to follow Ibrahim, once we follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we follow Ibrahim. They were all great. We want to look at the one that has been acknowledged as the greatest man in history. And this listing, this recognition, this acknowledgement was luckily not done by Muslims. It was luckily done by non-Muslims. So without doubt, Muhammad is the best candidate to use to discuss a great man. So how do we manage a great man? But then, number 3, we are going to look at his relationship and marriage with Khadija, because that is the point we use for the advocacy for this program. We want to attempt to correct certain impressions about that relationship and then marriage with our mother, Khadija. Yeah, what does it mean to be a great man? We were to talk about great women too, but once we are able to successfully define greatness, we should be able to understand the connect between the great man and the great woman. One of the most outstanding characteristic of a great man is that only a great woman can manage him. Only a great woman can marry him successfully. Only a great woman can marry him for long. Ordinary women cannot successfully marry great men. They won't be able to cope, so they will leave. That is why most great men suffer divorce, because except the wife is also great, and I'm going to mention a few characteristics that will make you know if you are great, and then that will make you know if your wife is also great. So we shouldn't bother that we are limiting this greatness to man instead of saying managing greatness. Now, greatness is not necessarily a matter of size. Greatness of a man is not his size. let us be very clear about this. Greatness of a man is not his wealth. A man may be great without being wealthy. He may not be rich. He may also be rich, but there is greatness without wealth. Greatness itself is wealth, but once richness joins with it, then he is tremendously great. And the great rich person, Allahu Akbar, is uniquely different from the wealthy but not great man. Greatness means being unique, being distinct, being exceptional. There are certain characteristics about them. Number one, they are emotional. But unlike women, ordinarily women are emotional. But a great woman is not emotional. A great woman is clear-headed. She's clear-headed. She deals with facts. She deals with reality. She's very real. She does not play on emotion. But the great man, unfortunately, the great man behaves like a woman. Very, very emotional. He can cry. Like Umar cried to the extent that tears made marks on his face. The prophet used to cry. It's a woman that cries, but a great man cries. However, what makes him cry is not really something that you expect to make somebody of his stature, being great like that, to cry. When Umar could cry, you can imagine Umar, of all people, crying. So the star quality of a great man is that he is emotional. He is not necessarily a good person. After all, Shaitan is great, but he's not a good character. He's not a good creature. Greatness is not necessarily being good. But if you are great and you are a believer, you are exceptionally good. What counts against you as a great, faithful man is your emotion. This emotion can make you commit sin. This emotion can make you fall. You can sacrifice yourself for others because of your emotion. Then you regret it. This emotion will make you to involuntarily do things that you will regret later. Your emotion makes you forget that there is boundary, there is red line. So out of emotion, you cross the red line. But the same emotion will now make you sit down and cry. You start crying. So it is very wonderful that a great man is emotional. Number two, a great man does not listen to the voices of others. He listens only to his own voice. He does not really take advice. If you think you're advising a great man, you're only telling him what is inside him before. And it is that thing that he will abide by. You will now think that he's taking your advice. They hardly take advice. One great president of Nigeria said he wanted to be a good president, but not a good man. He didn't have to be a good man, but he wanted to be a good president. He was really a great person. He's still alive. Controversy surrounds him as one of the characteristics of great men. And he appointed advisors and told them he didn't need their advice. That he only had, he only appointed them as political job. That is a characteristic of a great man. He doesn't take advice. A great man believes only in himself. And if he's faithful, he has indescribable commitment to the text, to the absolute reference frame. only the Quran for as a Muslim, only the Quran as a Christian, only the Bible. If there is no evidence in the Bible, it does not budge. Therefore, people think that they are stubborn. People think that they are proud, they are arrogant, because of their exceptional commitment. Once a great man is convinced about a thing, nobody can convince him against that thing. Because of their emotion again, they take trust beyond the ordinary. You trust somebody, nobody can convince you that the person you trust is not trustworthy. Because as a great person, you have convinced yourself that your opinion about that person is correct. And any other person is not great like you. Therefore, he cannot convince you. It has its own merit, it has its own demerit, it has its own weaknesses, but the baseline is that the great man is emotional. Therefore, he listens only to his own voice. It's only what is close to his own opinion that he takes as advice. Really, they don't take advice. They really don't take advice. They only thank people that they don't see what they see. And they regard other people's voices as distraction. So when they are committed to taking a particular course of action in their life, I don't know what it will take to make them change their minds until they fall, until they have problems, until they crash. They are not always willing to listen to people telling them there is danger where you face. And one other thing that few of them who are exceptionally great, very few of them who are exceptionally great, they don't regret. Whatever happens, a great man does not regret. He will just say, it's okay, one of those things. He has burnt his hand. He has done things that will ordinarily make a man regret. In his privacy, he will cry. But he will come out. He will come out and use both face and bone and say, there is nothing to regret about it. He has done it. He has done it. Nothing to regret. These are few of the characteristics of a great man. A great man does not regret being poor, and he does not take advice to improve his poverty. He does not think that there is anything that can make him better than what he is. He's content, he's satisfied, he's always thanking God that he is what he is. Even if people around him feel that he could be better, he doesn't think that he could be better. He will think that the best that is happening to him now is the best that can happen to anybody. And whoever doesn't even have what he has is not as good as he is. So you'll be wasting your time when you try to make a great man improve any of his condition. It's like you're just talking to the air. He does not see what you see, and you don't see what he sees. So let's now look at responses of other people to a great man. Ordinary people wonder at the kind of life the great man lives. The great man does not hustle, but things get done for him. He doesn't really, despite his emotion does not affect his personal development. His emotion is about others. He is not bothered about himself. His problem is other people must not suffer. Therefore, he goes out of his way to solve other people's problems, whereas he has the problems that he's trying to solve for other people. He does not care. His priority is others, not self. So a great man is not selfish. A great man can borrow money to help somebody. He thinks that somebody needs money and the person approaches him. He does not have that money. And he will now approach other people to help him help another person. This is not funny, but if it has not happened to you before, let me see whether somebody who knows that I've done that is here. Before I start, somebody is here. I will not talk again. So if you have not experienced it before, you cannot understand. When somebody is asking you to help somebody who he wants to help and he does not have the money to help that person, you start wondering, what kind of person is this? You know, that is the wonderful aspect of the life of a great person. His emotion is not attached to his personal development. His emotion is attached to other people's success. He's more interested in other people's success than his own success. Now let's look at the beautiful way Allah captures this while describing the Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We will go to Laqad Ja'akum, the last two ayat of Surah At-Tawbah. We also go to Surah Al-Azab to read how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the greatest man that we want to talk about tonight. In Surah At-Tawbah, Allah revealed ayatain. This ayatain, we use it as locally Ogwaiku, Abimoshi. But let us know the meaning and see the Prophet ﷺ as the epitome of an emotional, selfless great man. A great man is emotional, but is selfless. He's not applying his emotion to better his own personal life. He's doing everything for others. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِيتُمْ حَرِيصٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Indeed, certainly has come to you a messenger from among yourselves. Grievous to him is what you suffer. What you suffer is grievous to him. He is grieving for your suffering. He's not bothered about his own problem. At the time of the revelation of this ayah, he was in Medina. He had 9 wives, none of them was pregnant. He did not think about his own problem. Allah is describing him as somebody who is grieving about what is happening to you. Your suffering makes him grieve. He is having a headache for your own problem. He does not mind his own headache. He is bothered about your own headache. Concerned over you. He is concerned over you. Harisun alaykum. Harisun alaykum. He is concerned over you. 1, he grieves over your suffering. 2, he is concerned over you. He's not concerned about himself. Bil-mu'minina ra'ufun rahim. Now he has a special attachment to the believers. He is kind and merciful. Kind and merciful. At death, he was owing. Everything he was owing was for others. He borrowed for others. So what he borrowed became a debt on him at death. At the time he died, he was in debt for others. Fa'inta wallahu, Allah says, if they turn away, faqul hasbi Allah, say, Allah is sufficient for me. La ilaha illahu, there is no deity but him. Alayhi tawakkaltu, on him I depend. I rely on him. Wa Rabbul Arshil Azim. He is the Lord of the great throne. Let's go to Surah Al-Azab. Ayah 45. What did Allah say in Surah Al-Azab concerning this man? Allah describes him in 5 ways. And only a great man can be these 5. And in any case, nobody can be as great as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Surah Al-Azab is also a Medinan surah. Allah is describing him at this time when he just fought a war, Khandak. And we are going there next time, but tonight we are just trying to expose him and then take one example, the relationship between him and Khadija. Radiyallahu anha. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, O prophets, inna arsalnaka shahidan, we have indeed sent you as a witness, wa mubashshira, a giver of glad tidings, wa nadhira, and a warner, wa da'iyan ila Allah bi'izni, and a caller to Allah by his permission, wa sirajan munira, and a light giving lamp. He is shahid, giver of glad tidings, a warner, a caller to Allah by his permission, and a light-giving lamp. 5 characteristics. Yeah. What do you mean by a shahid? A shahid is somebody who shares others' experiences so that he will be a witness. Say, what you are going through, I'm also going through it. Let's take an example. He was going on a road. He met Abu Huraira lying down. He had fainted. He called him, Abu Huraira, what's the matter? Abu Huraira could not talk. Abu Huraira raised his garments. The Prophet saw one stone that he tied to his stomach because of hunger. The Prophet smiled. He raised his own garments. Abu Huraira saw 2. Immediately, energy came back to Abu Huraira. If you are tying 2 stones because of the same hunger that is afflicting me, my hunger has gone. Abu Huraira stood up immediately. That is a shahid. Wa mubashshiro, a giver of glad tidings. That you should not lose hope. Situation will be better. There is no time tonight. There are 2 people. I have seen one on this platform. The other one is a professor. If I have the opportunity, I'm going to tell stories about them. I cannot forget the relationship between me and these 2 gentlemen. And when I was giving them Bushra, one, I was giving Bushra personally. The other, I was giving his grandmother Bushra about him. His grandmother was doubting me. Alhamdulillah, before the grandmother passed on, everything I said will happen to him has happened to him. And it's continuing to happen to him. And he has not reached the final bus stop. If somebody giving Bushra when there is no reason to hope, when situation was very, very hopeless. Some other time we are going to do that. Tomorrow we may blow this up tomorrow, inshallah. Somebody to remind me. When we get to Muslim Media Practitioners Lecture tomorrow, inshallah, we are going to blow this up. 1-0 and a 1. Say, oh, to and a caller to Allah by his lead. This is a caution to him. He was so desperate that everybody should be guided. And I said, no, I will guide only those whom I will. Last time be Musaita. We blow this up tomorrow. Was Siraj and Munira, his personal life is the light. His personal life is the light. What he's saying, what he's asking you to do, he's doing it. So he lived Islam. Now let's look at the second part. Very quickly, what happened between him and Khadija? I have said that only great people recognize great people. Those who are not great criticize great people. They envy them. They hate them. They cannot stand their gods. They don't think that they are reasonable, they are sensible. Those who are not great do not appreciate great people. They look at their life and say, no, is it that this person is mad or is crazy or something? Their life looks like crazy life. But another great person, especially woman, a great woman, we quickly recognize another great man. Let's go back into history before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Balkis was discovered by the bird of Sulaiman, he sent a letter through the bird to Balkis. The people of Balkis said, we are ulu basun shadid wala amru ilayk. We are men given to mighty war, but the command is for you. Give us command, we are going to finish Sulaiman. The great woman said no. Inside her, she had found a husband. From her mouth, it describes kings. When they come, they bring people down, they destroy towns. I'm going to send him Adia. But Sulaiman rejected the idea and threatened to bring her down. So he brought her throne. Balkis had not seen Sulaiman, but she had recognized greatness in him. Our warriors hated Sulaiman for threatening their kingdom. They wanted a fight. But another great woman saw greatness in a man that she had not seen. She already fell in love. And so she went to him and accepted Islam and fell for him and abandoned her own throne and kingdom and became a queen in the palace of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. Exactly what happened to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like I said, greatness is not size, it is not wealth, it is not power, it is not position. Muhammad sallallahu was just a young man in his 20s. He was working with Khadija. But like I said, greatness means eminence, distinction, uniqueness. It does not usually go with integrity, but for a woman, it goes with integrity. Once you are different, a woman is conscious of your uniqueness. You will observe that most men that run after women suffer from their hands. But most men that women run after are saved, even by those women. They are saved, even by those women. So Khadija saw what Muhammad Islam did not see, even in himself. He saw him as a calm young man, neat, but extremely honest. Whenever Muhammad Islam went for trade expenditure, he will come back with profit several times more than what others will bring. Khadija tested him in several ways unknown to him. He changed them. He changed routes. He made him play all the roles that others had played. He came back exceptionally unique with more profit. He noticed that everybody congregated towards him. Everybody wanted to be his friend. She made up her mind, this is my husband. Why? Because this person had been growing my wealth. This person is different from others. She had two problems. Number one, the family of Muhammad was a noble family. Our family was not as noble as their family. So the problem is our family will not want her to marry them so that a rich woman will not become a slave in the family of a noble but poor man. So because Arab culture was very, very strange, very, very strange, they valued the family lineage more than wealth. They didn't care whether they are rich or poor. They cared whether they are from a family that is unique. So the family of Muhammad was unique. The second problem was, would the family of Muhammad allow their son to marry from her own family? What did she do? She proposed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallam, as a man, as mere Muhammad then, discussed with his uncle. His uncle tried to discourage him. Many people will not talk about this. The discouragement was that, where are we going to get the bride price from? We have to show them that we are better than them, we are superior to them, and the bride price for a rich woman was going to be tremendous. So they tried to discourage him. They were not thinking of age, the age gap, because that was not an issue. That was not the family distinction. So the Prophet was stubborn. He insisted that he will marry the woman that wanted to marry him, because the woman had suffered twice. She was twice widowed. Emotion. The Prophet used his emotion to beat down the objection of his family. Then what did Khadija, another great woman who discovered a great man, what did she do? She approached her father and uncle, and they just laughed. They said, they will not marry you. You know, their family, they are very proud. They will marry you. She said they will marry him, that he should just consent. He said he had heard. So she wrote a letter consenting to the marriage. She now made her father drunk. In his drunkenness, he was very happy. He now asked the father to sign. He did not read. So the following morning, she went to thank her father, according to the narrative, for allowing her to marry from the family of Muhammad, the branch of Quraysh, the Hashimiyya. Then the father said he didn't sign. She showed him the letter, and the father agreed. So she took the letter to Muhammad. Muhammad took the letter to his own people. The marriage was consummated. What attracted Khadija to Muhammad? Greatness. What attracted her to him? Fact, reality. If I marry this one, he will be my manager, he will grow my wealth, and I can go and sleep. This man will not betray me, he will not exploit me, he will not tyrannize me, he will look at, I've seen it, I've seen his emotion, he will take care of me. I will also take care of him. He needs a mother and a wife. Khadija became a mother and a wife. The Prophet was an orphan, a 25-year-old man without the warmth of a biological father and mother, but the love of a grandfather and an uncle. So when he saw a woman outside, desperately falling in love with him, he became emotional. So he also insisted, they both insisted on the marriage. And the question is, did Khadija give Muhammad all her wealth? The answer is, why not? Why not? She had seen a manager. So She stopped trading. Muhammad became the manager, and he dealt with everybody that was disturbing Khadija. Everybody became a better staff under Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khadija gained, not Muhammad. It was Khadija that gained from the marriage. The lesson is, are you a great man? You want to marry asset. You want to marry a rich man. But you don't have the greatness of Muhammad. But you want to make your wife to offer all her wealth to you because Khadija gave her wealth to Muhammad. No, Khadija was smart. Khadija was wise. Khadija was good. Khadija was a great woman. She trusted her husband and believed that his judgment was better than her own judgment. So it is not dashing him his wealth. It was making him to help her so that she now had a husband, she had a manager, she had a counselor, she had a teacher, she had everything she had lacked. She had never been this happy in her life. So why not? Why not? They never quarreled. There was no need to quarrel. So this is the story. There is another thing that we have to clean off. It is that the Prophet ﷺ married Khadija as Muhammad, not as a prophet. So whatever happened to them till Khadija died is not a reference in Sharia. It's not. It is not a reference in Sharia because some of the things that were not in consonant with the Sharia began to be cleaned up by abrogation, by reprobation, by approbation. And by the time Khadija had died and the Prophet had married Sauda, had married Aisha, had married other women, Allah now gave a legislation confining the prophetic experience about women to him. Ayah 50 of Surah Al-Ahzab, khalisatan laka min dunil mu'minin. Why? Women will seek him, women will want him, like every other great man. Every woman will want to have a relationship with you. So, as an emotional person, Allah pardoned him. Allah now says, anyone that comes to say, I want to marry you, if you want to marry her, marry her. No sadaki, no, but he usually gives sadaki. There are no restrictions for the Prophet concerning his relationship with women in marriage. But Allah says, only for you. He does not extend to the believers. So how can you demand a Khadija from your wife when you are not Muhammad? So this is where we want to stop tonight. That you need to be great. What surprises me personally about greatness, and whether you agree or not, Allah has made me a great person too, is this emotion that you want to, there is no way you can control it. You are bothered about others, not about you. You want to solve other people's problems. You start having a headache, sleepless nights over other people's problems. You are not bothered about your own problem. Every great man will have his own problem. The Prophet had 9 wives. None of them was pregnant. He had 7 children. 6 died in his presence. He didn't bother. Matter did not arise. Infertility issue did not arise as a matter. But other people's problems, he kept solving. When your wife sees this in you, and she's a great woman, no matter will arise. But when a woman decides to behave like a woman, what happened in Surah Al-Ahzab to his wives will happen. But this is not what we expected. We expected them to bother about their infertility. But that matter never arose. When Allah told them that they should stay quietly inside their houses, they should not ask for anything, they agreed because They could not afford not to be wives of the prophet, but they were not bothered because they were also great. They were not bothered about not having children because they were satisfied being the mothers of believers. So these are things that are wonderful. We are going to continue this on this program. We have just introduced the matter using only one example, Khadija. We are going to go to Surah Al-Tahrim and Surah Al-Azab. And then we will come back to Surah Al-Nisa. Don't forget, we are going to have a full lecture tomorrow with the Muslim media practitioners. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khaira. Yes, alhamdulillah, this is another wonderful session. It is just an introductory aspect. We will continue later next week. But like the Imam have said, I will post the Zoom link for tomorrow on the family platform immediately after this Talim session. So those who have clarification questions, answer, issues to discuss, to grind, can come up. Yes, I can see one hand up. You can kindly unmute yourself and make your contribution or ask a question, please. Tayyib?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thanks for the lecture. Jazakumullah khairan. Sir, I just want to seek clarification about the age difference of the prophet and our mother. I've once heard that the gap is not the 15 years that we've been taught all this while. So that's why I want to seek clarification, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You see, those who are talking about the age not being what we have been told are apologists. They just wanted to say that he's not 15 years. That matter did not arise at that time. They're just being apologetic. They don't want to see the prophet as exploiting an old woman and so on. No. Whatever the age gap is did not matter. What mattered was what made Khadija insist on marrying the prophet. It was greatness that she did not see in any man. So don't worry about the age gap. It can happen even today. I mean, younger people marry older women. So the miracle of marriage, according to Ayah 21 of Surah 30, is an ayah. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. One of the signs is this: He created for you from yourself your wives. You find repose in them. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And He places between you love and mercy. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And these are signs for people who reflect. So don't worry about the age gap. Don't let us be apologetic. There was age gap, but it doesn't matter.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Abdallah Abdurrahman Taiwo.
Officer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's the road?
That is gone are the day, sir. I'm now at Federal Poly, Laro.
As a lecturer?
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Welcome to the camp.
Thank you, sir. I want to join others to pray for you that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to preserve you for the human. Sir, there are two things. One, from what you have said, some of these attributes of a great man that you have mentioned, they are exceptional, and there are things that at times one is advised against, like being arrogant, being not taking advice, being not all of this kind of a thing. At times, I mean, there's a particular one that you always also advise us that yes, in trying to solve other people's problem, you must be mindful of yourself. And like the saying in safety, save yourself before you save others. So I want you to, maybe in the course of the lecture anyway, but I find that some of these attributes, so to say, at some level, we were advised against some of those things. That is one. Two is that when a great man marries a woman that doesn't realize he has a great man, how does that man manage such a woman? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Alaikum salam. Let me start from the rear. A great man cannot manage a woman that is not great. The marriage does not always succeed. Because, like you said, the great man does not take advice. The great man does not look at reality. The great man is always emotional. The great man is always concerned about other people. An ordinary woman wants a man to be with her and with her alone. An ordinary woman is selfish and does not want to share her husband. So there will always be a problem between a great man and ungreat woman. So that is the reason they always suffer divorce. A woman that is not great will not last. She will eventually leave. I mean, tell me one great man, even in Nigeria, without family crisis, and I will tell you he's not great. Tell me, just tell me one. Every great man is patching his family. Hey, you don't know what I go through. You don't know. You can't know. Because you see only the fine side. So that's why the fact that I am very proud that my wife is a great woman. Despite that, it is not easy. We go into excess. We are not reasonable. Every great man is unreasonable. So every other person that is not great wants a great man to be like him. Look well before you leap, especially helping others. A great man does not mind to cross the red line to go and help others. And he does not suffer anything. You know, that is the miracle. Once a great man keeps helping others, his money keeps growing. He can only suffer for a while. He will be replenished. Whatever he loses as a result of going out to help others, it will be replenished. This is what other people don't see. They see the reality. You are reckless. You are unreasonable. You are stupid. What exactly do you want to achieve? Say, carry me, show me. They will criticize you. But one attribute of the great man that is in degree is that they don't care. They don't worry themselves. Whatever you want to say, that is what they regard as arrogance. It is not true that they are arrogant, but it is true that they don't like distraction. They don't like people talking. They want action. If you attack them, they attack you and they fight, and it ends like that. And that's not something that will make people comfortable. And a great man is not patient. He wants to fight now and go. He does not postpone fights. And then, because he doesn't have time to think about you, he wants to dispose of you and go. So those who are not comfortable with them are those who are not great. So when a great man marries an ungreat woman, he will be patient. Whatever trouble will come, definitely there will be trouble. Every great man has trouble with his wife. Every great man. But you must be patient. When we get to Surah Al-Azhar next week, inshallah, you will see exceptional patience. Exceptional patience. So the greater you are, the more patient you are with your family. This is also a trouble for you. The patience you use to keep your family will now attract other women. They will now become desperate. That because a great man, for example, is a very caring person, very caring, but the caring is outside. It's more outside. So your wife will now become confused. What kind of person is this? If he shows this care, 20% for me, our life will have been better. But the great man doesn't care. So maybe because I'm also a great person, I don't know the solution except that you must be patient with your wife, whether she's great or not. Wallahu alam.
Yes. Well, this is 4 minutes to the agreed time. I can't see any other hand up again. And I cannot see the national coordinator here. But I can see the coordinator of Lagos. Alhaji Kolapo. So
I'm there, my friend.
My my national coordinator, I'm sorry, I've not seen you. Okay, can you please
It's
help
there.
us to close the class for today?
Great. Thank you very much. We thank Allah for the opportunity that we have again today. I'll be Almighty Allah to let us have the best of the understanding. There are always issues every week for us to grind. And I pray Allah to make it a source of goodness for us in this world and thereafter. We thank our Imam for always coming up with us. And I appreciate everybody on this call, almost 90 at the time, even more than that. So we don't take your attendance of this program for granted. We hereby call on you to call others to come and join us so that we can all add value to our personal, individual, organizational life. Jazakumullah khairan till next week. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wa
Jazakumullah khairan. So see us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. and next week Thursday, next week Tuesday, 8:30 p.m.
Okay.